right, traders, let's get started for today's recap. This is Christian from Tribeca Trade Group, and yeah, happy Monday. It is the Monday the 13th. Of course, we're going to have a big macro type week this week, and yeah, it's probably the I'll get right to the punchline or the theme of this video. It just looked like price overall. There's probably lots of folks that are just kind of waiting, and we're at a little bit of a standstill. I think what you saw in the price action today with the CPI report coming up on Wednesday. Tomorrow, you get the PPI report. Maybe that will give a little bit of a sense of inflation. If inflation is easing, they're looking for a 0.3 for that tomorrow. So that's at 8:30 tomorrow, and then Wednesday's reports at at 8:30 as well. These reports will be interesting. I would think that this number comes in a little bit lighter than expected. Why do I say that? Well, not because I'm not measuring, I'm not going out and measuring the components. But I think 0.4, just from that means like another decent uptick in inflation, and I don't think that we've really seen too much go higher. I think that we've seen we got the wages report, which was from the last jobs report, which was in line with expectations, I want to say. So if we go back to if we go back to last week, you can kind of see what I'm looking at here. And so where's this? Here it is. Right. So when we look at the average hourly earnings, they came in 0.2 versus 0.3. That's one of the components of inflation. And then you've got rents, and you've got housing, and you've got commodities. You've got car prices. I've heard car prices have gone down a little bit. So, I'm just not hearing that many things that have gone higher in terms of inflation. So I think that so again, I'm guessing here because I'm not crunching the data like an economist does, but I would have to think that this number comes in maybe a touch lighter than expectations if I had to guess. Now, I still think with the VIX at a low level, we talked about it in the weekend video, I still think you could put on a cheap hedge because again, you don't know what the information is going to be. And even though that's what I think, you could still buy really cheap protection. And this way you can kind of sit with some positions through this chop that we're dealing with, and you could have a little bit of protection on. So I may look to do that tomorrow. I didn't add anything today. The meme stop, the game, the meme stocks were interesting today. You could see AMC is going up a little bit. If I had to guess, I bought a little bit of this AMC right before the close today at I think 525 was my purchase price. Why am I messing with a $5 stock? Well, because risk to reward. If this guy Roaring Kitty comes out and puts out a video about why it's compelling, and I think my guess, again, I'm not privy to any information here, but I think that people like to go after $5 stocks and say it's undervalued and there's high short interest. I think there's about 18% short interest, but we'll see what develops. And regardless, I just hit a target in this, and I think this 1 hour version point of control right at 615. I actually took some off right at 595 in the aftermarket. There's another one up here at 672. And, so again, it's all about risk to reward. You could talk up a $5 stock and you can get it to move. 681 would be the next level, right? And then above 681, you really don't have anything for a while up until about 20, so this could get people excited, right? 25.44 is the bottom of value for the year. That's certainly a long ways away, and that would be a really profitable, that would be really nice. There's other VPOCs in here too, all along the way, 12, 14, what have you. So in any event, that's what was kind of the most interesting thing for the day. GameStop, of course, let's just kind of review these charts just to say that we did. 39.35, that would be the next level up on the 1 hour chart. Yeah, and we almost got there. That's also on the daily chart, so 39. So something to watch there. I know some people also looking at Reddit. Okay, Reddit made nice move. It did not move closer to the it did not close to the end of the day. And then like Carvana, like I'm actually, I think this is one of the more interesting ones too. They had, obviously a big earnings move, but they really haven't had any follow through. The level that I was watching for Carvana was 122, and it touched there and got rejected. And the last one in this group that I'll talk about, and again, it's not to say that there aren't other high short interest names. I'm just going through a few. Robinhood, which, this is going to get more younger traders, I would think, to trade. And, they do a lot of their trading there. But notice how this got rejected right at the bottom of this week's value area. 1721 is what I would watch. Don't forget they received a Wells notice from the SEC, which caused the stock to reverse right after they reported earnings. So just bear that in mind. All right, let's get back to the let's get back to the again, the only reason why I'm bringing this up because that was the most interesting thing for the day. We started the week above the value area. We'll watch to see if this breaks in. It did it intraday. The 1 hour candles, some of these the price action did get in here. But it managed to stay above. 52.41 is the level to watch there. And it does look like a bit of a double top. So for confirmation, right, a lot of things could look like a double top or a double bottom, but really that's not the case until the pattern actually forms, right? Because a lot of things look, there's a ton of things that look like head and shoulders tops, and they don't ever break the neckline, and it's not a head and shoulders. So same thing, I would wait until this kind of breaks into the value area, and then you could say, oh, maybe we've got a double top. Right, that's just the 1 hour chart. Note that we tried to go higher on Friday and failed a little bit. Try to go higher today and failed a little bit, especially in the beginning of the day with these little gap ups. I would watch also the 5-period moving average. 80% rule is still in effect, which is not that far away, just about 1% above. But above all else, if price action breaks inside the value area for the week and breaks below the 5-period moving average, I wouldn't, be concerned about that 80% rule. I would be concerned about the price action and it, losing a little bit of short-term support. Qs, also not much of a range for the day. 447 is your resistance, and 1 hour chart. We're just kind of sitting. There was little to no movement over the trading session. 441.96 is your support there. And then finally IWM, which started off the strongest of the indices this morning, on the open, or going into the open, I should say. But this actually just gave back the most price action throughout the day, and that's actually sank back into the value area for the week. Watch that 285. Notice it's pink, indicating the bearish, and same thing for the S&P and the Qs. If they break into the value area for this week, that triggers the bearish 80% rule, right? And then you can possibly, short in the on the short-term time frame. All right, let's go over a couple of positions. Let's go over like some of the movers. Here's the watch list for the week. Alcoa, I'm going to start with Alcoa because it was a really nice move. Notice where this thing got to. It actually kind of like, so it took out a major VPOC here. So really, really strong to see this move up 8% today. So it took out a virgin point of control there. It also took out a virgin point of control here, but it didn't really hesitate too much. But I still think I would be, even though this looks like a nice break higher out of the consolidation, I think you got to, I think that's a place to take always a virgin point of control is a place to take targets. Now you don't necessarily have to take the whole thing off. Another 4% up or 4.7% is the top of value for the year. Like that could be your primary price target, but ultimately, that's to me a good place to take off a good portion of the trade. And I'm not in it. I looked at this one today too. This is Kaiser Aluminum. It's funny because more people talk about FCX than they do SCCO. More people talk about Alcoa than they do KALU. But this is the one that's kind of been showing more strength and has been breaking higher. And there's not another VPOC up there until about Looks for another 8%. I think there was one on the 1 hour chart, because otherwise I was thinking about taking a trade in this today. But yeah, I'll watch to see if it could break above there. So that's a lot of times what you see in a VPOC takeout is that type of consolidation. And so I would watch to see if it can start to get above that and head towards 101. All right, so that was an interesting name. I did take a trade in GPC. I've been watching this name. This is Genuine Parts Company. I used to trade this name, back, I would say like a couple years ago. This is one of like, if you rewind a bit, go back. This thing had really good performance. I think it was like 2022. It really was one of the better performers in a tough market. Rallied from 132 all the way to 172. Yeah, this is 2022 where it really outperformed. Now it hasn't, it hasn't really done much since then. Kind of broke off those highs, but it had strong earnings, and I'm just kind of focused on the short term here and maybe looking for a move up back up to the top of the May value area. So I waited for this thing to kind of, find a little bit of support, 20-day moving average, and start to move up. Also, AutoNation had a decent day. Again, there wasn't a lot of stocks that had trending type days to it. A couple names that I'm watching too. I thought Google had Google I sold on Friday, and I was kind of giving myself a little bit of a victory lap this morning, because I said, oh, I want to see what it does at the 20-day moving average. Now that it broke this, well, it actually hung in there really well. Now it didn't retake the 5-period moving average, but man, that's a really nice recovery off of the 20-day moving average. So and again, not that many trending days, but Google definitely had one. Netflix, it seems like this, I think a lot more people are noticing this now when Apple's up. Um, uh, NVIDIA doesn't do much, and vice versa when NVIDIA is up. So kind of like, and when you think about it, it is a little bit intuitive, because Apple is, acts a little bit more like a value type tech name. It's got a lot of cash. They're buying back a lot of shares, but not a lot of growth. And meanwhile, NVIDIA is more the growth tech name, so semiconductors. So that still is kind of bottled up there. So a lot of inside days. My thought is that this might run into its earnings. And then of course we don't know what they're going to do on earnings, but watch for a break higher. There was a couple price target raises by some brokers. I thought it had a chance to kind of move above here, but I would really watch this 911.70 level. All right, just a couple other names too. Obviously, I had Squarespace on the watch list, and that's getting taken out. I was also watching Walmart today too, but that fizzled. No, I did not take a trade in it. And there's GPC. Micron is another one that's been acting well. We could look at that chart. I also want to go over, so that did break above the value area. So nice little move today in Micron. I also like Qualcomm. Right. I've been a little bit reluctant to get into it, but made this gap up, and now is trying to resolve and maybe take its next leg higher. All right. What else did I have? TOST is another one that I did put on in the TTG trend portfolio last week. I'm watching to get involved in this one. Look at the little consolidation here. So this one's like on the top of my watch list, right? Kind of maybe letting the 5-period moving average catch up to it a little bit, right? Another one too that it's funny because I don't hear too many people talking about, which makes me interested, right? I like when people kind of are, I don't like when people are looking at these things every 2 seconds. When it starts to lose a little bit of interest, then I get intrigued. And so again, I don't have a position in this, but I am watching 818.26. I was watching it last week too, and it didn't do anything. So I'll continue to watch and monitor. Also 830.92 would be a level to see if it breaks over this so again, it's just monitoring right now. Don't have to be in them. Could essentially essentially just monitoring, rather than trying to, get into every position, and especially in a choppy market. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow.